Whenever you need to go out and make sales, whether it's to get the number of patients that you need, or maybe you're having an event and you need to sell a certain number of tickets, it helps to understand this concept, which is, I don't have a name for it, but this is kind of how I understand targeting. So how do we look at the market? Who is reachable? Who can we get our message, our promotions, whatever it is that we have to offer? How do we, or how can we get it in front of them? Who can we get it in front of? And how can we make it easier in the future? How can we work on this thing so that in future events, in future promotions and future offerings, how can you make it easier to reach more people and make more sales? So that's what we'll be looking at today. And what I want you to do, the first thing we're gonna look at is this, which is permission, identified, targetable, and untargetable. So this represents this entire circle represents the entire population of the market, or people people who would be qualified to purchase whatever it is that you have to offer. So in the middle we have permission. So these are people who want to hear from us. These are people who are actively listening to or reading your emails, actively waiting for your next YouTube video, whatever it is. And then we have identified. So these are people who aren't actively awaiting your messages, but we're able to target these people. We're able to, we have their phone numbers, we have their emails, we have a way to contact them. So we've identified how we're gonna be able to contact them. These names suck. I haven't put much thought into the names, but this is the concept that I want you to understand. So bear with the names. Targetable, so I said this is like people we can target. But targetable, what I mean is that we haven't identified their information yet. We haven't identified how we're gonna get in touch with them, but we can target them, all right? And we'll look into how we can target them, how we can get outside of the identified zone into the targetable people. And finally, we have the untargetable people. These are the people who are intentionally or unintentionally have created conditions around them that make it very difficult or impossible for us to reach out to them and get in touch with them. And for the most part, these are people that unfortunately we can't engage with, and honestly, we should be respecting their wishes. So this is the makeup of the market, but this isn't an accurate reflection of what the numbers look like. So it actually looks more like this, where this is a complete estimation based on my experiences and some of the data I've looked at. Untargetable will make up around 50% of the population, maybe around 50 to 60 are going to be untargetable. And yeah, it's significant. You would think that in today's age with technology, with social media and all this stuff, it would be very easy to target people, but you have to understand that once social media grew to a certain degree, there was also, the internet is very young. It's about 30 years old right now, the popular internet as we know it. So as that grew to maturity, as social media became coming in the last 10 or so years, maybe 15 or so years, there's been a growing movement to get out of that growing circle. And not just social media, but the internet in general, advertising and all this other stuff. About 52% of Americans right now have some sort of ad blocking. Many people are getting browsers where you just can't serve cookies, you can't like do all this tracking on them. A lot of privacy protection. People are opting out of accepting all cookies. Like all these things are, we're fighting this cultural battle where advertisers and people who want to get in touch with you, and then on the other side are the consumers, the people who want to be respected, who don't want to have their attention wasted. And there's this war going on. And I'm not saying either side is right, but what you have to understand is that the consumers are winning. They have the ultimate choice. They have their agency to do what they want with their time, their energy. And so this untargetable sphere or circle is growing larger and larger. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And that goes to my other thesis of why advertising is becoming very ineffective, but that's for another video. Anyways, so they're gonna make up a huge chunk, and let's skip over to targetable for now, and let's look at the permission and the identified people. So chances are the number of people who are actively eager to hear from you for whatever it is that you have to promote or offer or whatever is going to be very, very tiny. It's going to be a fraction of a percentage of the entire population. And so, and around that, the number of people that you've identified, whether it's through buying a contact list, it's through like scraping emails or phone numbers or whatever it is, that's going to be identified. It's also a tiny percentage of the available market. So we'll go back to these later on how to improve these so that next time you won't have to rely on any of this stuff, and how we can actually break into the untargetable if they choose to. It's going to be through getting their permission. But okay, targetable. How do we now target people who would want to purchase or what align with your offering or whatever that is? And the answer here, how to break out of this, is going to be advertising. That is the only way. Of course, there's things like search, there's things like Google reviews and all this other stuff. They work, but the problem with those is that you can't get their attention at will. So let's say you have this event to promote, you have these sales to make, you have these patients that you need. With advertising, what you can do is you can spend money. It's like a pay to win or pay to play kind of game. If you spend money, you can break out and start targeting people, hopefully that you're targeting them effectively. But the other stuff like SEO and all these things, it's going to be very dependent on the market themselves. It's going to be depending on them, on their schedule, on their wants, their needs, their whatever season it is. So you have that limitation. So if you need to make sales, if you need to get a certain number of events or tickets for an event that's coming up in 2 months, which is exactly the situation I'm in. And this video is mostly to help explain to the person who I'm working with why we're going to have to take this route. When it comes to that, it's going to be advertising, because you're going to need to pay to get in front of people. Like, that's the platform's rules. Like, no one is going to let you do that for free. Sorry, I'm so nasally. I'm sick right now. But okay, so targetable is going to come down to advertising. It's mostly going to be through meta ads. If you're looking at Google ads, you're working with what people are already looking for. So there must be a search volume. So if people are searching for it, you're in luck. You can work with Google ads, and most likely you can create something for that and make sales there. Alternatively, if people are searching for something and you offer an alternative, you can also work with that way. But chances are you're going to be providing something that people aren't actively searching for, especially if it's new, especially if it's something like a conference. In that case, it's going to have to be meta, it's going to have to be display. People aren't searching for it. And so, yeah, that's the platform that you're going to be mostly working with. All right, so now let's talk about permission. I don't really care about identified. Like, you can pay for all these lists. You can, it will probably blend more with targetable, because you can just pay to make the targetable people identified. Just as in meta ads, you can pay to get them onto your website, or hopefully get some clicks, get them onto your website, and from there serve a cookie, get them identified, build an audience around that, and so on. So these two are not interchangeable, but they work very closely together. Permission is a totally different thing. When someone is actively looking to hear from you, there is something else going on here than you just going out and purchasing or paying for interaction, right? So permission, when you gain permission, you can also get people who are untargetable, who give you their permission or give you permission to reach out to them. So for example, I do advertising, but funny enough, I'm blocking all ads. Like, I am very analog. I'm off screens for as much as I can be. And so it's very difficult to get in touch with me. Even my phone gets very few notifications. I block a lot of it. But there's a few people who I eagerly look forward to hearing from. And for them, they have my permission. And so the goal is to grow this inner circle right here, this circle right here. Identified, again, I don't care so much for. Like, you can get, basically it comes down to how to get targetable to being identified, but you're still not breaking into the realm of permission. They're not actually eager to hear from you. Unless you do have a great offering, then they would go from identified to permission. But all right, let's talk about how do we grow permission. And when we can grow permission in the future events, now not only are they identified, but they eagerly want to hear from you. So when you have to have an event or when you need to make sales, if this asset is large enough, it starts to become real easy. So music industries, when they hire artists, they're looking for people whose fan base doesn't look like this. They're looking for people whose fan base is mostly permission. And of course, there's a lot of people who don't want to be part of it, but like that's what's going to be driving ticket sales. So when they book someone famous like Taylor Swift, her permission circle is massive. And so that's what we're going for with you. How do we build that? So the first thing to understand is who is it that you want to get permission with? Who is the audience that you're seeking to serve? Not what are their demographics, because demographics aren't how we make decisions. It's what are their psychographics? What do they believe? So if it's for a dental office, who are you seeking to serve? What mindsets are you seeking to serve? What belief systems are you seeking to serve? Not with what ethnicity, what income. You can have someone who has a very high income who is very stingy, right? It's not what age, depending on their age. There's so many different psychographics. There's so many different belief systems going on. It doesn't really help you to understand demographics as much as it would help you to understand who or what are the belief systems and the mindsets and the worldviews of the people that you're seeking to serve. So first, identify that. Then from there, you start to, first you have to attract them, right? You've identified them, but now you have to actually attract them. And that's going to come from differentiation and understanding that of the people that you choose to serve, there's going to be a fraction of them who want something new, who want something better, who are dissatisfied with the way things are currently done. And of those people, they're actively searching, they're looking for something better. How do they find stuff that are better? They look for things that are different, because different means there's a chance it could be better. If it would look the same, then there's no chance it can be better. So differentiation is the fundamental platform from which we attract new people who are interested in something better. And so when you can differentiate properly, you understand what it is that they want, and you start aligning yourselves in a way for that. And when you align yourselves in a way for that, you align in a way where you understand their feelings based on their worldviews, what they want, and you start serving that. So for me, for example, I'm trying to grow my permission asset by delivering the feelings of clarity, delivering the feelings of understanding, whatever it is, whatever permission it is that you want for your audience, just start delivering that. And offer people to join on. Like, give them a way so that they can subscribe or they can become a part of it. There's so much I want to talk about here about like on one end, you can create content for virality, you can create content for engagement and subscriptions and all this stuff. That's not the point. We're creating content for traction. We're creating content, we're trying to grow your permission asset in a way that it's only people who would be likely to engage with the behavior that you want them to behave with. And when you can grow it in that way versus just taking the shortcut and making clickbait titles, clickbait thumbnails, like adding in hooks every time, short attention span cuts, like that, yeah, sure, you'll get engagement, but it will be like you'll miss this. Like you will be aiming at a totally different circle of people who care about a different thing because you lost sight of the traction that needs to be built, which is at the center of all this stuff. We want these people to be people who would be actively choosing our decision, all right? So let's summarize. When you need to make sales, when you need to get a certain number of sales, you have to identify who is untargetable, or you don't have to identify, but you have to understand that people are going to be untargetable. Some people are going to have to target through ads, and here are the people that you can influence. And basically, you need to grow this. You don't have an infinite budget in order to capture this entire thing, this entire targetable audience. And that targetable audience is also shrinking as our audience decides they don't like ads, and there's more and more technology to support that decision and to support them to be ad-free. And so this shrinks. And so the ultimate solution, the truth is that it's going to be hard at this moment to get the sales that you want. There is no solution yet. Let's say you want to wake up tomorrow and get 1,000 new sales or whatever it is. It's just not going to happen because you haven't built this permission asset and because you don't have the budget to access all these people. That's just the truth. So how can we improve that? It's not, well, you can make more money, sure, but that seems like a very roundabout way. The direct way is going to be to grow the permission asset, right? And to grow the permission asset, it's going to be identifying who it is that you're going to serve, differentiating in a way that's meaningful to them, and then delivering the feelings that they want little by little, and showing them that if they subscribe or do whatever, like they can be, if they join on, that they can get closer to their desired feeling, then they're going to give you permission to continue reaching out to them. And when you have this eagerness to be heard, when people want to hear from you, and you can grow that, then whenever it is you have to make a sale, or whenever it is that you have an event coming up, or maybe you're touring because you're Taylor Swift, and this is large enough, then you can wake up the next day, decide you need 1,000 units of sales, and make it happen because you've worked on the permission asset. So hope this makes sense. My head hurts a lot. I'm gonna get some sleep, and thanks for watching.